So I just watched the second episode of The Sympathizer on HBO, or Max, or whatever it's called now. And, you know, it made me think, like, why am I not just watching that or things of that nature, you know, like things on Amazon and Netflix and Showtime and all of that? Like, why do I spend so much time watching YouTube? And what is so interesting about a lens? And why do I need to keep watching, you know, reviews of, like, you know, not even vintage lenses? Like, sometimes I'll be like, you know, I need a wide angle lens, so let me check out the Panasonic 18 millimeter, you know, the L mount, the S series lens, you know, because it would be perfect for my S5. And so that makes sense, right? Watch the video, watch one video, kind of check it out, get an idea of what it looks like, maybe 2, 3 tops. But why do I need to watch like 30 reviews of a lens? Like, that's all it is a lens. It's not even that interesting. It's a new lens, you know. It doesn't have any character. It probably has like no imperfections. It's got nothing. Nothing. And then I'm watching The Sympathizer, episode 2. And so far, the first 2 episodes are like incredible. Like, I mean, I kind of have an idea what's going on. You know, I have the basic foundation of what's going on, but I don't really know what's going on. But I think that's what they want, because it's a whole series, you know, and you got to get through all the episodes, you know. And it's really interesting, and the cinematography is off the charts. I mean, it's so cool. So many cool shots. The coloring is just amazing. It's so beautifully done. So easy to look at. You know, it's like I'm looking at it, it's like a masterclass in lighting, in depth of field, in character study. It's like really interesting. The script is amazing. You know, Robert Downey Jr., such a great actor, playing multiple characters. And I'm watching this, and it's like making my head explode. I'm so inspired. And then I'm thinking, you know, I got to work on this short film. I'm going to be kind of in a confined space, so I need a wide angle lens. And the widest lens that I have is 28 millimeters, and I don't think it's going to cut it. And I have to do it within the next couple of weeks, so I might have to get a wide angle lens. And I'm looking at this Ttartisan 12 millimeter APS-C lens. It's a cine lens. So it would be 18 millimeters on my Lumix, you know, on my S5. And that would be plenty. Like, that would be 18 millimeters. I can get it for like $250. And it's well built. It's got great reviews. It's not all that interesting. It's not a vintage lens, you know. It's probably perfect, you know. It's probably perfect. And I thought, I don't need to watch any reviews on that lens. I have never watched a review on that lens. I just know that it exists, and that's because I was doing some research. Like, I would like an 18 millimeter lens, you know. I tried a fisheye lens, and, you know, as much as it's fun and interesting, I would never use it in a film, ever. Like, I can't imagine with my aesthetic that I would want to use a fisheye lens. I just don't like that look. It's just like crazy. It's like, why do I want to look where my nose is out to here and my arms look like they're 30 feet long? Like, I'm not into it. I'm into reality, you know. And 18 millimeters, I think, for a small space, because I'm not going to be shooting me at 18 millimeters, although I might get 1 or 2 shots in the space, but I definitely need that kind of wide angle view. But I don't need to see any reviews. I don't care. You know, I know what 18 millimeters looks like, you know. And actually, the only thing that I need to do is shoot on my 28 millimeter and move it way back and know that I just want a wide angle lens without any distortion, or with as little distortion as possible. And so maybe I'll look at 1 review, or maybe 2, something like that. I mean, are there even any reviews for the, I think it's a T2.9, or maybe it's an F2.9. It's either a T or an F, I'm not sure. It's a cine lens, so it might be a T. And so I don't know. Maybe I'll watch 1 or 2 reviews. But I'm watching this series, you know, and I just got finished recently watching another series called Carnival Row, which is also amazing. And it's a story of racism, but it's like a beautiful metaphor about these people with wings. And it's amazing. It's amazing. And again, the cinematography off the charts, the writing, the acting, man, I mean, just fantastic, you know. I've been watching a lot of stuff lately, you know. I went back to watch The Wire, because to me, that's like the Bible of cinematic storytelling. You know, even though it's a TV show, it's kind of like as good as any movie ever made. I mean, The Wire is absolutely the best example of character study and how characters carry the show, carry the story, are the most important thing. Because if you don't care about anybody in the story, none of it matters. You know, even if it's the most surprising ending, the most crazy story, none of it matters if you don't care about the characters. What's going to happen to these people? Where have they been? Where are they going? Where are they at? You know, like you're nervous, you care about them. You don't want anything bad to happen to them. Or you want something bad to happen to somebody, but then you start questioning yourself. Like, I don't like feeling like I want something bad to happen to somebody, but sometimes somebody creates a story that really is kind of complicated for you to deal with. And, you know, there are stories like that, you know. There are stories like that. I mean, sometimes I think like, you know, I'm a person who doesn't like violence, you know, and I've had my share in my life, but I don't like it. I don't like it, you know. But then I think to myself, if I found out that somebody hurt somebody who I really love and somebody who was vulnerable, like an elder or a child or somebody who I really cared about, and if I found out that somebody hurt that person, I would probably have this blind rage and I would be able to hurt that person. And so these are the feelings that we struggle with as human beings, right? We struggle with that. And that's what great storytelling does. It makes you struggle. It kind of takes you out of your ability to just reason and take a moment and just react. You know, like, that just happened. You know, what would I do if that just happened? If somebody just broke into my house and tried to take my home? You know, if somebody was hurting somebody who I love, what would I do? You know, what would I be capable of? You know, great storytelling is disruptive. It's disruptive. You know, it makes you just get off your shit and just feel. And that's what I'm feeling from watching this. You know, like it's kind of like walking on the edge of a cliff or on the edge of a building. You know, you're on the roof and your foot slips a little bit. You might feel like this person's going to fall, and it's like that kind of thing. You know, like you're on a bridge, you know, or somebody's like leaning on something that looks like it's old and it's not quite as stable as you would hope, you know, and you're thinking they might fall off, and it's that kind of feeling. You know what I'm saying? And so I think everybody should be watching stories, movies, films, you know, go back and watch old films, you know, study cinematographers and study directors and writers, you know, instead of watching 5 million lens reviews and camera reviews and lighting. Because the thing is, what do we want this equipment for? What do you want it for? Like, what do you want to do with it? You know, you want to create stories. You want to create something that somebody's going to feel. Nobody's going to feel anything if you show them a picture that's just uber sharp, you know, just, oh, that's amazingly sharp. The lighting is fantastic. You know, look at the colors. Look at the color science. You know, the stability on that shot was amazing. Nah, nobody cares about that. People want to feel something, you know, they want to laugh, they want to cry, they want to worry, they want to cheer, like they want to be involved in something human. And, you know, it's a good reminder, you know, I'm sometimes finding myself getting away from that, even though I write all the time. Like, do you know? Well, you don't know because you don't know me, but I write every day of my life. I do. I write every day. I always have something with me that I could write on, either my phone or my laptop or something. I have a digital recorder that I talk into. Like, I write every day. So I'm always involved in a story. And that's what saves me from getting stuck in this YouTube thing, you know, where you're going down this rabbit hole of like tech stuff and it means nothing. I'm telling you, as a storyteller, it means nothing. You know, the camera that you desire, the lenses that you desire, all of it. Like, I just did a video on the Helios 44-2, and I love that lens, and I love it because it looks unlike any other lens. It's amazing. You know, it's got this great kind of image quality that's like just weird, you know? It's strange, it's unpredictable. That's what I like about it. It's so imperfect, but it also could be really sharp. It's like, it's amazing, and I love 58 millimeters. I like, you know, between like 45 and 70, I really like the way that looks, but I also love 28 millimeters, but that's usually as wide as I want, you know, except, you know, I realize for this thing that I'm about to do that I need something wider, but that's just physics, you know, I mean, that's just because of the physical space. Like, I'm going to be in this tiny little storage space, and I need to have something wider. Wow, that was a confusing sentence right there. I love the Helios, right? But the Helios doesn't mean anything. You could give me any lens. You could give me the Sony 16-50 kit lens, and I can make a great story with that lens because it's about what's in my script. That's what it's about, you know. And then it's about my lighting and my locations and the words and the acting, you know, the putting those words across to the viewer and telling the truth with those words. Even if it's fiction, it has to be true. What's coming out of you has to be like it's the first time it's ever been spoken. This is the first time this moment has ever happened. We are all here at the same time. It's this convergence of a whole bunch of people and a whole bunch of situations all at the same time, and boom, it just happens immediately now. And it's unpredictable. And we don't know how it's going to turn out. We just know that we got a problem, we got to solve it. And do you think a lens has anything to do with that? No, that all comes afterwards. You create this story and you're like, man, that is a dope-ass story. Like, that's crazy. People are going to go crazy over that. You don't think about like, oh, I'm going to do that with a 28mm lens. Like, you don't think about that. You know, you create this story and then you start to think about what you want it to look like. And then the craft of filmmaking comes in and you start to think about, you know, the size of your, you know, the focal lengths of your lenses and the type of aperture you want to use and how the lighting is and the locations and the color and the characters. And, you know, you start to think about all of the accoutrements to your story, but that's just after. And it can actually be told in a million different ways with a million different lenses and different cameras. It could be micro four thirds or full frame or APS-C or anything. It doesn't matter. Because if you're a good filmmaker, it's going to look great no matter what you do, because you got a great story in your hands. And so you have the opportunity to tell a great story, and so you get to use your skills. But if you have a crappy story, no matter what you have, it's going to look like shit. I guarantee you, people are going to leave there and they're going to go, what the fuck was that? Like, what was that even about? Who cares? I felt nothing. You know, I just sat there, I was like thinking, oh, you know, maybe I should go get a puppy. That's an epic failure. But, you know, the cinematography might have been amazing. You know, the stabilization, you know, all the moves that you had, like, it might have been slick, you know. The lighting might have been just fantastic. And that's interesting for like 30 seconds. That's it. None of it matters, you know, none of it. You got to have good sound. You got to have, you know, good equipment to be able to take the story and then make it into something that people are going to love. And that is an art form unto itself. But don't kid yourself. If you don't have a story, if you don't have, you know, the Sympathizer or Station 11, watch Station 11. If you don't have The Wire, if you don't have The Sopranos, you know, if you don't have 12 Angry Men, if you don't have Cinema Paradiso, watch Cinema Paradiso. If you don't have like Water for Chocolate, then you ain't got nothing. That's what you need. So I'm so grateful that I was watching this tonight, you know, because it's just another reminder. Even though I think about this stuff all the time, I'm like consumed with it. It takes over my whole body all the time. I just think the story, you know, like how can I get to the heart of this matter? How can I get to the stuff that really matters, that empathy, that compassion, you know, that heart stuff? How can I get to it? You know, the stuff that's going to rip your guts out of your body, you know, with love. That's what I'm trying to get to.